do indeed. So we don't have Shadow and Cub, but we've got the little prince himself, Hosana. So that completes our cat trifecta for the afternoon, which is quite spectacular, really. So it's amazing to think that we actually have currently at the moment 4 leopards on Djuma. So we've got Shadow and her cub somewhere where we haven't been able to find her, and then James had little Shongile, and now we've got Hosana, who's taking it very easy. As you can see, he's found himself a log to sleep on and is resting at Treehouse Dam. Now, I was at the hyena den and we left because Hosana was found, and we thought we'll just come have a look at Hosana. We might head back to the hyena den a little bit later. Everybody was very sleepy at the hyena den, so we thought we'll come to here and then maybe go back to the den a little bit later and see if Ribbon is back with her little cubs and if they're out and about, and if we can maybe get even some audio like Byron had the other day. So that's the plan for that. But he's still very curious. He's kind of sitting on his log watching what's going on. And I wonder where he came from, because this morning I drove past Treehouse Dam and there was no sign of a leopard anywhere in this area at that stage, and there was not even any tracks around here. And I don't think anybody even found tracks. We just managed to bump into him on the northern side of the dam, and he loves to lie in that area. It's one of his favorite places. I've seen him lying on that stump before, so he's a happy cat when he's here, and it's a good place to be in. There's lots of terrapins here. There's also a lot of animals that come to drink here, so there's a lot of impalas, a lot of waterbuck that come, and while a waterbuck's probably a bit big for him now, it's still good practice to stalk and chase and to try get into it. Now we're going to do our last welcome back for our TV ads, so I do apologize if it sounds like I am welcoming you all to the show again, but we are just doing our last practice round for today, so it should be fairly simple. Now, as you can see, it's still quite a gloomy afternoon though. It's not exactly very, very pretty out here this afternoon. It's not like the sunrise we had this morning where it was pink and really, really nice. It's still very gloomy, and so I'd imagine it's going to be perfect conditions for the leopards to be hunting. So I would think that's why Hosana is having a little nap at the moment. He's just waiting to save his energy for when it gets dark, and he can then start going and potentially trying to hunt, which will be good if we can stick with him. So we'll see how it goes and see what he gets up to. Now I'm going to hold off speaking just for a little bit so that we can do our welcome back, and then we'll be back into the normal swing of things. Trifecta. So Taylor had lions earlier, James had his leopard earlier, and now we've managed to find Hosana. So Hosana is the little Prince of Djuma, for those of you who don't know. And if you want to know who exactly the Prince of Djuma is, remember you can use #SafariLive on Twitter. And there we go. That's our welcome back from the TV ad. Now let's get back to Hosana, because he's far prettier than my face, and let's have a look at what he's up to. He's still having a little nap at this stage, but I'm sure he will wake up just now. I'm pretty sure that he's going to sort of start stirring from his slumber as it's getting darker now, and hopefully he's going to move around and try and sort of catch something, and we'll be able to then follow him. I'm sure Senzo is dying to use his IR lights and follow a leopard with his IR, so hopefully little Hosana will be a bit more active than he is currently now. But he seems like he's got a little belly on him since we saw him. We saw him yesterday morning, and he seems like he's got a little fat tummy. Ah, Cheryl, you say that Senzo is doing a marvellous job, and he's excellent. Well done, Senzo. There you go. Pat on the back, Senzo. You can give yourself one. And indeed, he has done a very good job today. He's been on point and very quick with his movements, so it's good to see it. It's amazing to see the development of the cameramen as they sort of spend time on the cameras and how they grow, and we really are so fortunate that we have the guys that we do. They're all very, very passionate and all so eager to give the best possible shots possible for all of you at home. So well done, Senzo. But like I was saying, little Hosana's belly is quite full, so I wonder if he managed to get something yesterday. Maybe he found himself some terrapins, or potentially those white-faced whistling ducks. I know the white-faced whistling ducks were going towards Chelapan, and maybe he managed to catch one of the little ones, because we saw them, I think today, they were seen up at Gari Dam, so I wonder if they haven't moved because of him. And there obviously is a lot of terrapins around. There's also a lot of Duiker and Steenbok, but if it was one of those, we would have probably found him on that carcass. He's not that full, so whatever he was eating was something quite small. But you can see it's quite rounded there, so he's definitely had something to eat in the last 24 hours or so. But that is one relaxed cat. So from sleeping hyenas to sleeping leopard, they're all in that Sunday afternoon, very, very, very relaxed mode. Now, talking about our ducks, I believe James is frolicking about with them. Hopefully he's not in the water like they are, and we'll see which ducks he's got. East from this side where we can see him. So he's still sitting at the moment, just looks like maybe he's feeding off something. I'm not 100% sure where he is at the moment, what he's actually doing. He's got his mouth on something, but I can't see what it is. Big yawn. Are you going to wake up for us now? Maybe he was just eating some grass. It seems like he was biting something in there. I couldn't see nicely. Hello, my boy. Now, isn't he so cute? He's such a good-looking young leopard, this. He's going to be such a big boy when he's older, and he's definitely got that typical Karula family look about him. He looks very similar to what she does, and all the boys that have come from her look all very, very similar indeed. Now, where are you off to? Isn't that spectacular with his reflection? Just come out a little bit there, Senzo, and you'll see the reflection on the water is absolutely spectacular. Look at that. Isn't that amazing? So for those of you that like to do screenshots, that's number one right there of him walking along. I'll just try and give him a bit of light so that we can see. Now hopefully he's going to stop and have a little drink for us. Maybe he's more fond of the corner area. Where are you going, Hosana? Absolutely spectacular. Now, I'm trying not to shine the light towards him too much, just using the water to bounce it off. Are you going to drink in the worst possible place for us, where there's a branch in the way? No, I don't think he wants to drink. I think he's decided he wants to start moving now. Is that your new sleeping place? Is that where you want to sleep? Now, we've seen them so many times in this area. This is one of the places that they really like to spend time. Even when Karula was still with them, we'd find Shungile and Hosana and Karula all around these banks and often lying on top here. And he used to check around in these areas because this is a great place where monitor lizards will hide. They like to hide in that sort of undergrowth and vegetation, so I wonder if he hasn't spotted something, because look, he's going into a stalk pose now. Now I'm just going to turn off the light so that I don't show him in case there's something there that he could potentially be stalking, but he's definitely going into stalk mode. Look how he's being very careful with his paws. I wonder if there's not a terrapin at the base there near that thorn tree. Let's see how he goes here. But look how his whole demeanor has changed. He's now very careful about the way he's walking. He's checking every footprint that he's making, and he's even putting his back foot right where his front foot was, just to limit the amount of noise that he's making. Ears are focused forward, eyes are very focused. What are you up to? Is that where you're going to watch for terrapins? Oh, clever boy, he's gotten himself a bit of a height perspective now, so he can see into the water, and if then anything comes out, he'll be able to leap on it from there. He looks a bit bewildered, doesn't he? He almost looks like he's unsure of what he wants to do. And he's watching some of the birds that are flying over as well. He's got a very, very curious face, little Hosana, and it's generally because he's up to no good. He seems to be a leopard that is always busy and always doing something. So, nice to see him up and awake. Now, I know that it is getting quite dark, but I don't want to shine on him, especially if there is some terrapins that are close by. See if he maybe can get a chance to get a meal. At the end of the day, we don't want to disrupt any chance they can get, because it's not easy for them at the moment. Without mom around, they really are having to fend for themselves, and it makes life a lot more difficult to be able to find the food that they need. But isn't that beautiful? Now, I think a toss-up for me between him and Tumba, which are my two favorites at the moment. So, Riti, you're wondering what age can a leopard independently hunt animals? Well, I've seen a young leopard of 5 months old kill a baby duiker. So, I mean, that's probably a once-off thing, but it just shows you that they are capable already of getting food. I know of a leopard that was unfortunately lost its mom at 10 months, and it survived. It managed to eat lizards and insects and all kinds of things, and snakes and terrapins, and it made it to be an adult leopard that lived a long life. So, you know, when they get thrown in the deep end, they tend to be able to do it, but I would imagine that effectively, generally it's between sort of 14 months and 2 years when they get left by their mom, and that's when they're able to actually start hunting quite effectively. So Hosana, though, has already brought down a number of quite big animals. I know he's brought down a duiker, I know he's brought down a fully grown impala, so he's doing just fine. He's taken to this single life like a duck to water, as opposed to Shongile, who struggled for the first few weeks, but she seems to have worked it out now. She seems to have worked out that terrapins are the way to go for her, and that's what she's doing. She's just going after terrapin after terrapin after terrapin, and seems to be doing really well and sustaining herself. And then the other day she managed to get a scrub hare and a duiker, so she's also starting to work out the techniques, and as time goes on, so they'll get better and better at what they're doing. What's wrong, my boy? You look very unsure as to what you want to do. Now, once he goes behind there, we're not going to be able to see him for a little bit. Hopefully he won't stop there, because it is really quite dense. Now, I'm going to reposition a little bit because he is going right behind me. So just going to try and move around quickly. Where did you go, Hosana? So, Ruby and the Sun, you're asking, will they jump and catch birds in midair? Well, yes, they can. I have seen leopards do it. Now, one of Karula's sons, Shivambalana. Now, Shivambalana means an emerald-spotted wood dove, and the reason why he's called that is because the first kill he ever made, he was sitting on top of a termite mound, and an emerald-spotted wood dove came flying past, and he jumped up into the air and grabbed it and ate it. So that's why he got the name Shivambalana. That's where it comes from. And so yes, leopards do it often. They regularly will jump up and catch things like francolins and guinea fowl, doves, anything that they can really get their hands on that flies close enough to them. So they do it. Not probably as good as what a caracal can do, but they are able to do it. Now, Lou has just said to me that they once had quarantine on the live drives that almost caught a guinea fowl that way. So there we go. It's another case in point. So they do it more regularly than we think. Now, little Hosana has actually just appeared out of the bush. So he is there, and he's just coming to the edge of the water. So he's looking around still and still trying to see what's going on. But at this stage, no terrapins on the edge. It's not probably the right time to catch terrapins. Generally, the terrapins at this time of the day... Oh, what's he got there? There we go. What have you got? Did you find one? Did you catch one? What have you got there? Was it a rock? Maybe you got fooled. No, you got fooled. It's a rock, my boy. But good try anyway. This is the trials and tribulations of being a young little boy in this area trying to find terrapins. Now I'm going to go back a little bit because he's coming straight to where we are, and I think he's going to use the edge of the water just to keep looking. So I just want to go back a little bit, so that if he does come around the edge of the water, we're not in his way. There we go. Now he seems like he's going to come out just in front of us here. Hello. Isn't he looking great? He's such a majestic animal, this. Still got so much confidence, even though he's on his own and mom's been away. He still really does have that swagger about him that male leopards do get. Where are you off to? And I wonder if he's not off to one of his favorite places, which is the pans on Shabamu. That's where he really likes to go, so I think that's where he's heading at this stage. Maybe he's spotted something on the edge there that's now caught his attention. Okay, let's just turn around again, because he's gone behind us once more. Hosana, you're making me chop and change where I am quite a bit today. There we go. Now we can see him quite nicely again. There he is. Now that he's stalking a little bit, I think what we're going to try and do is try and put our IR lights on, and so that we don't have to use the spotlight anymore. So we're going to try and see if we can do that. It's not the easiest thing to do because we've got to screw them on and attach them. And like I said, I don't really want to shine on him if he's stalking terrapins across the water. Now, just scanning along just to see if I can't see any terrapins. There were quite a few of them that had their heads up in the middle of the dam just now, but they seem to have all gone underneath at this stage. But like I say, we would like to put our IR lights at some stage so that I don't have to use the spotlight anymore. Andrew is just calling me on the radio. Go ahead, Andrew. Yeah, FM is just on the southern side of the dam now. You can make your way and join me as a second. Let's just stop to watch now and just to check what's happening. So, sorry about that. I just had to quickly tell Andrew where we are so that he can come and join us and bring his guest to come see little Hosana, who's not so little anymore. I think even Shongile, I was very surprised to see how much she's grown in the last little bit. She's caught up a bit with Hosana. She's no longer dwarfed like she was by him. So they both have grown and they are doing exceptionally well. It's been really tough for them just to kind of be left alone and now to have to deal with the situation by themselves. You can see it is getting really, really dark now. Now we're going to get our IR equipment all sorted out so that we can watch this little leopard without interfering too much. And while we do that, let's go across to Taylor and see where she is and whether or not she's had any more luck on cheetah plains. We do indeed, so we've switched into a red version, which is far better for both Hosana and for us. It feels a lot better not to be shining a light on him, and now he can go about his business in complete darkness and we don't have to stress too much that we're affecting any of what he does. Now, he is still on the edge of the water, just peering into it, ever so hopefully. I'm sure it's almost like wishing on a wishing well, that something will just magically appear in front of him that he actually really doesn't have to do too much effort to get it. Unfortunately, it doesn't quite work that way, so he's going to have a tough time of it for now. He might have to reassess his game plan at this stage. Yeah, I think he's decided no more of this. Let's carry on now. We're going to find a better way to do what we're doing. But isn't he beautiful? And he's not looking too skinny at all. I mean, he could do with a meal, but he's not as though he's overly skinny. He's looking as though he's very well fed. He's muscular, so he looks really good. I'm very impressed. He's done so well to adjust to this solitary lifestyle that he's now in. Absolutely incredible. I never ever get tired of that moment when a wild leopard walks within a few meters of your vehicle. It's such a special experience. So Rick, we had this yesterday and I'm actually not sure. I tried to sort of see if I could find out how much they would need daily, because somebody asked yesterday how many calories do they need daily. So I was trying to kind of work it out and try and see what I could find out, but I didn't really come up with much. So there are theories as to how much they eat, but because a leopard in the wilds is different to that of a captive leopard. I mean, captive leopard, they'll feed it every day and they'll feed it sort of 10-15 kilograms and that will last it. Here in the wild, these animals will catch something like an impala that weighs close to 100 and they feast off that of 3 days and then they don't eat for a week. So it's really difficult to say how much they actually need just to sustain themselves, just to survive. But it seems like Hosana and Shongile are getting enough. I mean, they haven't lost condition. It's not like they are super skinny and that we're seeing their hip bones protruding. At the end of the day, they're actually still looking quite good. They look still muscular. Their sort of structure is really, really good. So I think they're obviously finding enough in the terrapins that they're eating. So I would say probably for a leopard of Hosana size, maybe 5 kilograms a day minimum of food, maybe less. I don't know. It's an interesting one. I'm not 100% sure. Maybe some of you out there will know and you can let us know on #SafariLife. That would be a big help if somebody does find some concrete evidence. It's also obviously depends on the age of the animal. So if it's a young leopard like this, it's going to be eating a little far less than something like a male leopard. There's also then a varying degree of what is just to stay alive as opposed to what is well fed. So Tony, the reason why they're eating terrapins instead of impala at the moment is because an impala is a clever animal. It is very, very, very aware of the fact that there are predators out here. It is always on the lookout. It's got ears, it's got eyes. There's generally herds of them as well, so they really do look out for what's going on, and they often then can spot predators coming. So it's a really tough animal. Plus the size of an impala is really sort of double the weight of what Hosana is at the moment. So it's a tough animal to bring down for a young leopard. It's not easy to get there and actually physically bring it down. So a terrapin is far easier. A terrapin comes out onto the bank, they quickly just jump on it, grab it, and then that's it, and they've got it. So it's just a matter of sort of ease for them, and they're learning all the time. Every time they grab a terrapin, that sort of jump and that grab is kind of teaching them how to then potentially hunt something else. Now he seems like he's spotted something. You see he's just running along the road a little bit. Now, what have you spotted, Hosana? Now, Andrew has joined us, so we're going to now start doing our leapfrogging business, where we each get a chance to be in front. And since we've had Hosana for most of the sort of last hour, I'm going to let Andrew just come past me so he can get a chance to see the leopard, because he hasn't seen it yet. So we are going to give him a chance quickly, which means I'm going to turn off my light so that I do not blind him as he comes past. Hosana is just still going. Now it seems like he's heading down towards back towards Weaver's Nest area, and maybe back towards Baboon Pan. He seems to really favor Baboon Pan at the moment. He really likes that area and likes how it sort of works for him, and he seems to be finding a lot of food. I think there's also quite a few catfish that are around that area, and so catfish are another huge source of protein and are probably a little bit more tasty than something like a terrapin, and that's why he's enjoying going towards Baboon Pan more than what he is hunting in places like this. The other side of Baboon Pan is that it tends to be a series of very shallow wallows, and that's much easier to hunt in and even jump onto a terrapin than something that's deep like Treehouse. And remember towards the end when Karula was around and just before she disappeared, he was playing around in water quite a bit until they got to Twin Dams, and there was Boris the Blade, and that's when Karula started to growl and hiss and try and keep them away from the water. So I wonder if he didn't learn a valuable lesson that day, that big water places like this often can house a potential threat in something like a crocodile, and therefore it's better to stay away from big water sources and rather utilize these small little pans where there's no real threat of crocodiles in them. It would be very, very big surprise if there was a crocodile in somewhere like Baboon Pan or those muddy wallows around Twin Dams. Now, like I say, we just play a game of leapfrog, so Andrew goes ahead for a while and then he will pull over for us and then we'll go ahead. So it's one of those cases where we just have to be a little bit patient with what goes on. But Hosana doesn't seem to worry too much. He's still just going down the road, minding his own business, doing his thing. So there we go. Andrew is just pulled off, so we're going to just get in front for a little bit and spend some time with Hosana. So you can see he's just ambling along. And I think he's almost like he's waiting for something to come to him. So as he ambles, if he sees something like an impala, he'll then potentially start to stalk it, which now means he's stopped in the middle of the road and is not moving too much at all. What's he got? A little scrub here is what he's busy hunting now. So there's a little scrub here that's just in front of him. So now he's gone into a low crouch to see if he can't get a little bit closer. Now, a scrub here would be a great meal for a young leopard like this. The problem is that a scrub here is very, very fast. And so where he is now is probably a little bit too far away from that scrub here. He'll need to get a little bit closer. And what he'll be wanting to do is wait for the scrub here to actually come towards him, and he just lies in wait, and then as it comes he can use that explosive speed to get to it. Now you can see in the infrared really helps us. We can see where it's very dark, and you can see the scrub here just in front there that's on the road. Now let's see how Hosana goes, but you see how opportunistic a leopard can be. We were just talking about now how he will be walking along and hoping, and look, the scrub here is running straight towards him. I don't think the scrub here has seen him. Let's see how patient he's going to be. He's got to wait for it to come right close to him. Isn't this incredible? Don't think that scrub here knows that that leopard is there at all. So he's now in full crouch, and I wonder how much closer it's going to get before he decides to pounce. Here we go. Is he getting ready? I think the scrub here realizes something's not quite right. Isn't this amazing? So you can see the scrub hare's gotten a lot more alert now, so it's stopped, its ears are perked up, it's listening, it's trying to sort of see what's going on. I think when Hosana moved slightly, maybe it heard something and it knows something is close by. But for Hosana, the scrub hare turning its back is not the worst thing. See, now he's just lifted his head slightly, but the bank of grass that is on the road is actually quite big and thick, and so he's going to be able to just crawl slowly along, and I wonder if he won't be able to get a little bit closer and then use that bank of grass to his advantage, where he's able to get to the behind the scrub hare and then launch an attack from the back. Isn't this incredible? Absolutely amazing, and this is the advantage of having something like an IR light, is that we're able to see things that we wouldn't normally see. Generally, when an animal is hunting, we try and turn off the lights and we try not to disturb anything too much, and so we try and keep the lights off just enough that we can see what's going on. So Andrew's just trying to put a bit of light on the side so that his guest can see a little bit, but without blinding the scrub hare or showing Hosana. But for us, we can see a clear picture because of the infrared capability. It's an absolutely amazing tool, and this is where it pays off, is to be able to watch things like this is absolutely incredible. Now, these kind of hunts don't always just happen straight away. It sometimes takes patience. I've seen leopards stalking impalas for a number of hours before they actually launch their attack, and this is what Hosana is going to have to start learning. He's going to have to learn that patience game. He's not going to just have to run up and grab something. He's going to have to wait and sit and hope that the scrub hare comes closer towards him like it was. Now, I think the scrub hare knows something's not quite right, and there it goes bounding off. I think you may have missed your chance, Hosana, but let's see. Maybe he's going to just quickly trot down the road. So Lisa, you say that he was incredible and he showed such patience, not even a tail flick, and he has to. That was really good for Hosana. And you can see, look how he's walking. He's walking quite gingerly now, so he's just checking around the corner just to see if that scrub hare isn't in fact still close by. But let's try and see if we can just follow slowly behind him. Thanks, Andrew. So we're going to just try and see now if he's not potentially still there. Now, I think we can stay in IR mode. It's not a problem. Because I don't want to shine too many lights, because I don't want to chase the scrub hare or show Hosana too much. So I'm just keeping enough light that I can see where I'm driving so that I don't drive over anybody. But I'll just try and see. And maybe it's going to be better. There we go. So, I don't know. Where has he gone now? I wonder if he's not used the bush on the side here just to jump in. I don't see him anymore. This is the thing about a leopard, is when it wants to disappear, it can. Now, he may have seen the scrub hare run down the road and he's trotted down the road a little bit further. But I don't see him. Oh, there he is. He's just a bit further down. So he's moved quite far. The scrub hare's obviously run and he's decided to leave it. But that was so close. Wasn't that exciting? It was amazing to watch. I'm a little bit sad for Hosana. I'm glad for the little scrub hare. Since it was Easter last weekend, I'm glad that the little scrub hare made a break for it and got away. And Louise says her heart was in her throat, and I agree, Louise. It's one of those moments where, we just want to see Hosana do so well and really come of age and get a good meal. So it was kind of one of those moments where I was just hoping he was going to launch and hopefully get it. But at the end of the day, he didn't, and that's how it goes. And so earlier, we were talking about how difficult it is to hunt the mammals, because the mammals, at the end of the day, move, and they are alert, and they have senses, because if they weren't good at getting away from predators, they wouldn't be alive today. So that's a prime example as to why the terrapin is much easier than even something like a scrub hare. Now, it seems like he's going straight back towards Baboon Pan. He's walking that typical angle, so it seems like he is going that way. Now, I'm going to let Andrew come past and have another look while he walks on the road. But wasn't that spectacular? We are so fortunate to be able to witness these kind of things in nature, to sit with a male leopard and spend time with him. Now he's trotting down the road. I wonder if he's not seen that scrub hare up ahead. Now, I just want to let Andrew come past, because at the end of the day, like I say, they also want to have a look at the leopard. But how special is this? We're going to keep going with Hosana, and maybe he's going to get right with the scrub hare. And while we do that, let's go across to Taylor and see where she is and whether she's had any luck of her own this evening.
just yet. Many Impala, but we are on Chitwa.
About that, Taylor has just gone through a bad section, and so the little gremlins have creeped in and they've cut our feed from Taylor, but we're back and we're here with Hosana, and he is still looking around. He's just cut off into the bush here a little bit and he's sniffing, so I don't want to really go in after him just yet. We'll wait until Andrew has had a good visual, and then we'll try and see where he's going. I think maybe what's happened is that something's gone in there, and so he's just looking around, and once he's done looking, he'll then start to come probably back towards the road. At the end of the day, they like to use roads a lot more because the road is a much easier place to walk. If you're walking in the bush, there's ticks, there's grass that goes in your eyes, it becomes quite difficult. But on the road, it's really nice and easy just to be able to walk around and move. So that's what he's probably trying to do at this stage, and we'll see what happens from here. If he does start to come back to the road, then obviously we'll just keep following him, but if he goes into the bush, then I'll try and reposition so that we can see him. And if he carries on in the bush, it's going to be quite difficult to follow him, because where we are now is very, very thick all the way from here to Twin Dams. The next sort of road from here is Twin Dams, or if he comes out on the fire break to the south of us, but both of those are quite far away, and negotiating them at night is not the easiest thing. So hopefully he comes back towards the road. That would be far better if he did. Now, I can't see him myself. I don't know where he's kind of gone. He was just to the left of Andrew's vehicle, off on the side there, but I don't see anything at this stage. Let's try see if we can't go forward a little bit. So let's see now. I'm hoping that he's just here to our left-hand side. Now, I don't see him at this stage. It is really, really thick in there. So I don't know where he's gone. So Andrew's just telling me that he's gone into this bush here, so I'm going to try and see if I can find him. But like I say, this is not going to be very easy to negotiate this. This is as thick and as dense as it gets. But let's try anyway. Senzo, are you ready? Okay, Senzo says he's ready. I think, Senzo, we're going to have to be more than ready for this. This is going to be serious. But let's try and see what we can get through here. There's a number of fallen over trees and thickets. I'm going to have to use my spotlight for a bit, I think, to try and just actually see where I'm going at this stage, because it really is very, very dense in this area. As you can see, we're trying to kind of get our way through, but I don't see an easy route through here. Now, at the end of the day, I think we might have actually lost this leopard, but let's just try. The problem here is the elephants, so there are so many fallen over knob thorns, or pushed over knob thorns, should I say, not fallen over, because the elephants have done it, and they've pushed them all to try and feed off them during the drought, so it makes it really difficult for us to see. That, coupled with the fact that the grass is so long, means that we're really going to struggle to try and get anywhere near where there's no way through here. I'm just trying to see. I don't think so. I don't think we're going to be able to manage to get anywhere in here. This is all very, very dense and lots of fallen over trees. Where he's gone now is almost impenetrable. I'm going to just try and see if I can't try one more place to get through. So I know it's quite noisy, and I do apologize for the noise and the trees and the car revving, but really this is the only way I can try and see if we can find him again, but it is almost impossible. I'm hoping he's going to be a good boy and come out for us, and we're going to be able to just see him. Careful your head, Senzo, because there's going to be otherwise no other way. Just searching in here. It's a lot thicker than what it actually looks. I can tell you, it's almost like a wall. Hosana, where did you go? Let's see if there's maybe not a way around this side. So I think we're probably, unfortunately, going to maybe have to just call it quits and leave Hosana to his thing. If he's cut into here, it might be that he's now searching for something to hunt, and I don't really want to crash around too much with him if he's hunting, because at the end of the day I don't want to disturb him too much. But really there's no other way around where he's gone. And this is the amazing thing about a leopard, and it always amazes me, is that when they want to be seen, they'll casually walk on the road like he was doing, but as soon as they feel like it's now time for them to carry on and to get about their business without any intrusion, then they end up just disappearing in 2 seconds. Now, I can't see him anymore. I don't know where he's gone. From here, there's nowhere for me to go. So I think, unfortunately for us, that's going to be the end of our evening jaunt with Hosana, which is a pity. I was really enjoying being with him, but I'll keep trying a little bit. And while we do that, I think, well, I'm not just going to be doing chameleons because I've got Hosana again. So he's just in front of me here. He's been an absolute nightmare. This is the worst place I've probably ever off-roaded in my life, and it is horrible in here. There's fallen over trees everywhere, so I'm really battling to even get towards him, but he's just in front behind this bush here, so I'm going to try and just see if I can't reposition. There he is. He's just coming out to the right. You can see him there. Hello, boy. You're making us work tonight. It is very unpleasant where we are. There's thickets everywhere, like I say, it's fallen over trees, and to negotiate it at night is not very easy. But it's interesting watching Hosana. He keeps kind of putting his nose down and sniffing. I wonder if he's not on the scent of something. Maybe he's picked up the smell of some sort of animal that he wants to hunt. And he's now moving around, and you can see how he's almost disappearing. So to find him in this is proving to be really, really difficult. So I think what we're going to probably do is leave him here, because I don't think I can go any further in this without doing some serious damage to myself and Senzo, as well as poor Wendy, who really doesn't need to be damaged at all. She's got to do a TV show soon, so we need to keep her in good shape. So that, I think, is going to be our last view of little Hosana disappearing into the darkness. And now I've got to work out how I'm actually going to get out of here again. Senzo, you think that was fun? So Senzo thought, well, off-roading was quite fun. I feel a lot like Brent Leo Smith this afternoon. Seem to have gone places that only a short wheelbase Land Rover can go. Beaving a little bit, so he's kind of going back and forth in different directions. I think he must have gone to the left here because it's very, very thick. Senzo spotted him, which is good news. So there he is in front of us, and I think he's just laid down, which will be nice. That will actually finally settle down. Now, if you can spot a leopard, then I would be very impressed. You might just see the tail flick moving in that area, but anybody who can see a leopard there would be very, very impressive. Just watch for the blades of grass moving as he walks. So he's just in front of us, and there's really no way to see him. And this is what I was talking about yesterday on Bushwalk. When tracking a leopard in areas like this, it's almost impossible. You would walk right past this without even knowing a leopard was there. So I'll go forward so you can actually see where he is. So he's just, should be, there he is, just going down into the distance there. There you can just see his ears disappearing over there. So there he is, going through the thickets and disappearing into the long grass. So really incredible. Now that really is the last visual we are going to get of him, because I can't go any further. I've got a fallen over tree in front of me. So I'm going to start making my way out of this mess that I've gotten myself into. But this is what happens. I get too caught up with leopards, and they are such incredible creatures that it just kind of become addicted to them. You don't want to really leave them, and you want to follow them around and see what they get up to. And it's so nice to have Hosana and Shangile back this side.